Alex, hey man, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us on the show, brother. You're
Thanks, Neville. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. You've been doing lots of interviews and stuff today.
We've just kickstarted a little bit of a PR, I suppose, spritz with the launch of a few movies that we've got coming out this Christmas. So I've done a few online podcasts and online interviews, and done one for Channel 9, and I think I've got Sunrise somewhere in there in the mix somewhere. So it's all just starting to come to promote the movie launches we've got.
Pretty exciting, man.
Mm.
Yeah, because I mean, look, we know each other from this other place where it's crazy.
It's totally weird. It's bizarrely weird.
It's a different.
And to think how many scripts I've sent you, not knowing that you had this alter ego, without giving too much away, and you look me in the eye, and go, "I like this one." I go, "What the fuck would you know?" Yeah. And now I'm thinking, "Oh, you would know."
Yeah. But here's the thing: is I have seen them, but I purposely not read them because I want to see the movies.
Actually, that's the biggest letdown when you've been in it and you've seen the editing and you've been part of the filmmaking process.
Yeah.
It's the biggest frustration that you actually don't get to sit back and enjoy it for the first time.
Yes.
And they say to me, "Do you want to see it on screen?" I go, "No, I just want to watch it at the cinema. I just want to see it." And they go, "But don't you want to have final say on the edit?" I go, "No, give that to either the manager or my wife can make a decision or someone can make a decision. I just want to enjoy the movie. So you can all make the creative decision. I'm good."
It is the hardest thing. Like, I know with the music side of things, I can listen to a mix hours and hours on end, and then I'm just done with it. I was like, I just pick it apart, and you don't get that chance to enjoy it. But with the scripts that have come through, like, I see the title and I go, "Oh, you know what? This would be really, really cool," and I don't want to spoil it. I'll like flip through it and I go, "Nah. No, because I'm excited. I'm excited about Zombie Plane.
Don't push the red button. Don't push the red button. You'd resist. No,
that's it. I have. So I want to enjoy it as a punter.
Zombie Plane's going to go off. Well, thank you for mentioning. Zombie Plane is just crazy. It's just nuts. It's just mad.
It's going to be so good. But let's start from the top. Of course, you've probably been saying this a lot, but outside of your real estate career, you've been acting and stunts, man. Interesting life, dude. You've got alter ego as well.
There's a few alter egos. There's a few people kicking around in there, so I never know who to listen to.
Well, it's cool, but man. So where did it start? What came first for you?
I don't want to go right back to the war, so let's not talk. But just talking about, I suppose, my youth. I studied law for about, 6 weeks at Loughborough University in one of these intern summer. Before you start the course, they allow you to go and they do like this internship course. And I did that for 6 weeks for a summer period. I read like 3 or 4 books, and I promptly discovered law was not for me. I couldn't sit down and read a book. But I really wanted to go to Loughborough to play rugby because it was a great school for Loughborough, for the rugby school. And then you go on to play for England if you play for Loughborough. It was kind of one of the feeding schools for the England rugby team. So anyway, promptly got out of that. My parents said, "Look, if you're not happy, come and join us in the family clothing business until you figure out what you want to do." And we took the clothing business. I took the clothing business to heart, and I really got into that. And so it became, went into sales in the clothing family business. But anyway, grew the business, had enough of that, came to Australia, met my wife, Victoria, in London, and met her, actually pretty much the way I think of it, it's probably in today's society would be classed as sexual harassment. But I decided to let that go and to marry her instead. So she got off lightly with a wedding instead. So anyway, joke, guys, joke.
Yeah, I know.
Joke.
Yeah, we're gonna have a laughter.
So, Victoria didn't sexually harass me. It's okay. It's fine. So anyways, we came to Australia. Actually, I loved construction. I always loved building things, and I was always quite active.
Yeah.
And so I needed a creative outlet. So I actually became a builder on the Gold Coast, and I loved building. And I had a business partner. We grew the business, and then I ended up building for companies like Metricon and Westfields and the Pack Fair Shopping Centre and Robina Hospital. So big commercial projects as well. And it kind of became a bit of a beast. And then COVID came along. And one of my hobbies was instead of doing my martial arts full time like I used to do in the UK, where I do the competing and the heavyweights and the European Championships and getting teeth knocked out and all the bruises and the bumps and the scrapes, I decided the body had really had enough. And with building, full impact was not a possibility, because if I took a hit, then it meant I really couldn't work.
Yeah, that's right.
So I had to weigh up the commercial decision versus my hobby. And so I ended up training at the Stunt Academy on the Gold Coast, the one in the Rang, and really connecting with the guys there and finding that stunt training was more about partnerships than being in competition with each other. So it was a totally different way of training with martial arts, because you're trying to do this, choreography, almost like a dance routine. Very strange from a fight position, because of course you're always, looking to hit the other guy and knock somebody out and react to their movement in a kind of unpredictable way. But with stunts, it's all about reading the other person in collaboration. So totally different training. But anyway, really enjoyed it and kind of got into it that way. And that was kind of my side hobby while I had the construction business. Then we did some training sessions with some pretty well-known individuals. And I remember the first one, I think, was a guy called Richard Norton. And nobody under 40 knew who Richard Norton was, but I knew him as the guy who was Chuck Norris's training partner, one of his best friends, and he'd been in like 100 movies. But I also didn't know that he'd become one of the top choreographers, fight choreographers for Marvel. And we did a training session with Richards to start. And then at the end of the session, Richard came up to me and said, what's your background? If you don't mind me asking a bit. And I said, I do this as a bit of a hobby. And he said, you'd be great as a stunt man. You should get a bit more into it. So that was kind of the first seed of the idea of doing it a bit more professionally and a bit more routinely and a bit more regularly. And then we had the training session with Van Damme, and then everything changed after that. So Van Damme was just a legend. He was just so cool to train with, so cool to connect with and interact with. Just a cool cat and just brilliant in the room. So he was the one who then called me after the training session that I did with him. And he said, get out of construction. He said, honestly, just come and work in the movies. And he kind of made it sound a bit more romantic than it was. But, we can throw you through the wall and we can hit you with the car and we can do all these things. Anyway, so I started training more regularly and then was going for my grading to be officially graded. That's when COVID came in, the lockdowns happened, and the gradings all got cancelled and shuffled around. And I actually decided to close my construction business at the beginning of COVID because I predicted a big shift in the market with builders and being caught on fixed price margin contracts and then having the variable suppliers and labor rates on the back end. And as we know, there's a horror story in the industry of all these builders going bust. Some really good quality builders, we're losing them. They're just either not doing the jobs or they're going bust. I'm not talking about the dodgy builders who do all the dodgy stuff, but there are good operators out there who are just finding it impossible to run their business in the environment we're in. And so it was a sad decision to make that decision, but it was a decision I had to make. It was a bit like the decision to put down a pet. You don't want to make that decision, but it's the right thing to do. And it's kind of hurt me emotionally for this business that we built up and with all the guys and the camaraderie of working with all the trades to basically knowing that I had to let that go. So it wasn't a decision I wanted to make, but I had to make. And in amongst all of that was the training and then an opportunity to do real estate. And so this guy, I've known him, 20 years or something, 15 years, Amir, who owns Amir Prestige on the Gold Coast. He rang me, he said, what's happened? I hear your movie stunts are cancelled. I hear your training's cancelled. I hear construction's cancelled. Are you cancelled, Alex? I said, no. I said, look, we're fine. Victoria and I were just on the couch. We're fortunate. Not everybody was in our position. And so, very well aware of that. I don't say this arrogantly. I say this just as a matter of fact. We were fortunate to have money in the bank to see us through COVID. Yeah. And I know a lot of people struggled through. So I really, and my parents too, I had to kind of send them some money. It was tough for a lot of people. So we're fortunate in the way that we were able to pivot and survive here in COVID. And the Gold Coast was probably one of the best places in the world, really, to be during COVID. The lockdowns were not so severe. We have fresh air. We live on the river. We're blessed. We're very spoiled. We've got good weather, good food, the beaches. So, of course, we don't take that for granted. We're appreciative of the situation that we were in. But it allowed us to pivot. And we pivoted into real estate. And one condition I said to Amir is, I said, look, if I have any movies that come up, or they call me for the stunts, or they call me for training, or they call me to be acting in the movies, I need you to step into my shoes if I can't complete the real estate contract. And I could see Amir thinking, movies, like, what's this guy? Yeah, sure. And then, of course, we started with Amir Prestige. And I think pretty much on the second deal, I got a call to go. Baz Luhrmann asked me to audition for a lead role, a supporting lead role in Elvis. And that came through my stunt audition for him. So I did a stunt audition as part of the stunt crew. And I did something a bit wild. I think everybody did their usual standard thing. Hi, I'm Neville. I'm, I don't want to say your weight, Neville, but I'm going to guess 100 kilos. I'll just go with that.
Oh, yeah. Hey, yeah. Ding, ding, ding. Yes. Yeah.
Ding, straight on. Yeah, got it right. Yeah, perfect. I'm 100 kilos. I'm 6 foot.
I'm short and round like a hobbit. But
I specialize in eating pies. I don't know. What do we specialize in, Neville? I specialize in podcasting, whatever, and that was pretty much everyone's go-to on the camera as we went along. And they said their age and what they do. And I came along, I jumped into the camera like an idiot. And I went, hey, Baz, great to see you. Let's get this action started. And I just put on this fake American accent and got into it. And the guy doing the recording went like, and everyone went like, and I went, oh, no good. And they went, I don't think so. I don't think Baz will like that. Anyway, he did. And he asked me to audition for a supporting role, to my amazement. But it came through my agent. So they checked if I had an agent. John called me, said, yeah, I've got an agent. Said, okay, well, you've been cut from the stunt team, but you might hear something from the agent. I was like, I don't know if that's good news or bad news. I don't know what to make of that news, John. And he goes, well, let's just see what comes of it. Anyway, they asked me to read for this character that ultimately got cut from the whole movie anyway. But the character's name, I think, was Tony Gutierrez. Anyway, it was a great kind of mobster character. And then I saw who they cast for that role eventually, and it really looked like a good kind of classic, New York kind of mafioso gangster. A bit more like pitted skin, a bit more like rough around the edges. Really good casting. And I thought, oh no, that's definitely what a Tony Gutierrez looks like. And so anyway, but then my agent rang and he said, oh look, they've asked you to be, instead of just being an extra on the movie, can you be a featured extra and use some of your stunts when required? And so I said, okay. But then they went filming for 3, 4, 6 months between that conversation and filming. So they finished. So I said, yeah, okay, I'll do featured extra. What the hell? I'll learn something. And you do learn a lot when you're watching Baz Luhrmann. You learn an immense amount in a short period of time. And watching all the other professionals as well, by the way, not just Baz, but the first AD, DOP. You've got Tom Hanks there. You've got Austin Butler there. And you're up close and personal. You're learning. If you're there to learn, no better training ground. That is brilliant. And anyway, so we did the one of these big scenes with 2,000 extras on set or something. It was just a phenomenal logistical organization nightmare. It's kind of like watching a military operation with COVID. And lo and behold, they shouted out. They had about 3 or 4 people that they'd already prepped. And in this sea of people, I remember Baz yelling out, okay, now where's my crew that we've said we want to do stunts from the extras, and you're going to be a featured extra. Who are my crew? And I thought, well, it can't be me. That was a conversation 4 to 6 months ago. That can't be right. Like, surely you get a refresher memo yesterday or something, Anyway, and he kept looking. And I could see a few other people, like 4 or 5 people that I knew from the stunt team that are kind of thinking the same. So Alex. Wow.
Nice. Yeah.
Whoa, that's how good this guy is. You over there. You over there. Alex, I need you here. I need you there. Jack, which was the first AD, Please tell these guys what they're doing. Da, da, da. Stunt team here. Boom. Amazing. Like to have that all pre-prepared. Honestly, I got a shock at the level of organization that Baz Luhrmann had prepared on the day. It was quite incredible. Of course, he's got a team. He's got a whole budget to work with. But to remember something or plan something from 4 or 5 months ago to just go, bang, oh, yeah, I know who you are. I thought that was incredible. I walk into a room and I've forgotten the names of the people around the table that I'm talking to, you know.
Oh, I know, I'm the same. But
right, Jonathan, it's the same thing all the time, right?
I know, that's right, Steve. But yeah, well, I mean, he'd have to, with that many cogs, you'd have to have.
He was just on. He was just on. And I thought, okay, so that was the first kind of experience on set. And then I got a phone call that related to that. It was my gigs had been shut down because of COVID, so I couldn't travel. To do one with Van Damme, for example, he was filming The Last Mercenary. And then with the travel restrictions, it was too risky. So that was going to be my first gig, and it was going to be with Van Damme. And he said, come and work on set. It'll be fun. I'm going to throw you through this door, and I'm going to kick you here, and I'm going to punch you here. And we'll do all this great stuff. Don't worry, come. And it was in Eastern Europe. I've forgotten where, Hungary or Croatia or something. Anyway, so it got shut down. So, of course, I'm a bit doom and gloom, you know, I've trained hard and worked towards something. And again, knowing that everybody else is going through much, much worse things in COVID. And I'm just kind of like, I can't do what I plan to do. It's a bit like a spoiled child. So you have to kind of own the relativity of it, you know. But then I got a phone call from a producer here on the Gold Coast. He says, look, we're producing a movie in Perth. The actor we had to play a role in the movie called Avarice can't travel from Sydney, shut down. But there's a corridor open between Gold Coast, I think not even Brisbane, or maybe I have that wrong. Maybe Brisbane, there's a corridor open between Brisbane and Perth. So if you drive to Brisbane, you can get on a plane and go from Brisbane to Perth. I think that was it. And you have to have your COVID test, you have to have the vaccine, you have to do all of that. So of course there was all the controversy on the vaccine. I you know, and I get it. And I just thought, look, either I'm in or I'm out right now. So I went, did the vaccine shot, got the certificate. Victoria did the same, so she could come with me, and we went. And of course, taking the vaccine was probably more risky than the stunts, really, looking back, because no one really knew anything. It was going on, tests, and we know there's some dramas with the vaccine even today that are being uncovered. So it was quite a risk to do it, but we just thought, let's just take the plunge. You know, nothing ventured, nothing gained. We went. We met with the director, John Soto, and if you look up his movies, they're kind of small independent boutique thriller, horror, action blend movies. And he's done quite well. And he's had some amazing actors like Ben Mendelsohn and I think either Liam or Luke Hemsworth, I forget which, some strong female actors over the years, and just kind of brought those actors into the Australian cinema, if you like. And anyway, so we went and I did a couple of scenes on set with John. Oh, and the funny thing with John was he said, okay, this is what I want you to look like. I want you to look kind of like I look now, clean shaven, military grade, wearing long sleeve t-shirt, long sleeve singlet kind of thing. No, not cut off, long sleeve. And this is the look I'm going for. So I thought, okay. So when I got to Perth, I'd let my hair grow out. I'd done disheveled, hadn't shaved, and I wore a cut off singlet. I did basically the exact opposite of what John wanted, because I figured, well, we can fix that on the day, but I can't give him a disheveled look if I'm too clean cut. And I saw the guy I was working against or with, who was on my mercenary team. He's called Soa the Hulk, who's a proper UFC fighter. He's a big boy, Samoan guy or something. He's like big boy. And Soa had the military grade, clean shave. And I thought, well, let me be a bit different from Soa. And also Soa's like, I don't know, 130 kilos against my 100, 105. Like, he's big. Yeah. So I thought, let me be different. So he's got the they call him the Hulk for the reason. It's not a joke. Like, he's massive. So I thought, well, I'm more of a lean muscle, more athletic muscle. Let me show the difference. So we did that. I get the set. John goes, that's brilliant. I didn't know what John was going to say. I thought he was going to say, what are you doing? He went, that's brilliant. What a great look. And he said, that's it. So anyway, they threw me into the first scene. And okay, cut. And I thought, oh, that's not good. And they're doing the replay. And they went, okay, moving on. I thought, oh, shit, We got it in one take. Like, that can't be right. That's not possible. Anyway, I did the second scene and a couple of little adjustments and notes. And okay, cut. And we're moving on. And then John Soto came to me separately, privately. And I thought, oh, surely this can't be good. So John came over. He said, Alex, we really like what you're doing. We're loving the way you're interacting with some of the other actors. And you're kind of monstering Luke Ford, which was the role I was, supposed to do. Are you able to stay a little bit longer? Can you, instead of staying the 7 days we've penciled you in for, can you do like 14 days or whatever we need you to do? I said, yeah, sure, of course. I said, well, why is it going to take longer to film? He said, no, we're going to pad out the character. We're going to add a couple of different shots. We're going to give you some more lines. We're going to tweak this. We're going to tweak that. And we just want you to be here in case we need you on the day. And we might put you in a scene that you're not currently in. And we might do a little bit longer with the cat and mouse scene that we have. So he padded out pretty much the movie to suit my character, which I took as a massive compliment.
Absolutely.
And then John sent me we finished, then he sent me a beautiful text, I think 3 days after. And it was such a nice text, and it was really complimentary. And I thought, oh, this guy might want some money off me or something. What's he after? Anyway, so it was a lovely complimentary text, and I was really thrilled to have that. Of course, it was my first kind of proper gig, and then I got a nice message from Luke Ford, and then we went back to the premiere, a year later, and Jin and Alexi gave me some nice compliments as well. So I thought, okay, well, I have done a good job here. But when I got back, there was a martial arts movie we were talking about with one of the producers here, and again, just with COVID, the logistics, it all just got tanked. Finances all in place, logistics mostly in place. So that was where Sons of Summer came up, because they said, we've got this other script. So it's to do with the Mel Gibson movie. It's a surfy kind of druggy kind of movie. And I, in my head, think of a series called Animal Kingdom when I think of this movie.
Yep.
And actually the original script was much more, I would say, grungy and a little bit more, it didn't have as much levity in it, which the new script does. It was a bit more like, with reading it, it read a bit like No Country for Old Men. It read kind of very kind of just earthy and gritty, and a stillness about it. But what I liked about it, of course, to have work on the Gold Coast, what you're not going to like, but what jumped out at me was that the scenery of the Gold Coast kind of features as a character in the movie, because we show the dark undertones and the lightness, which is shown through the surf lifestyle and the levity of that. So that's kind of features as a character. So I wasn't entirely confident in the final edit that Lionsgate did, because they insisted on more surf, which they put into the edit. But I do understand the genre where they're showing the dark and the light, and you have to pitch the lightness against the darkness and playing with that. So I kind of got where they were coming from, but I wish they hadn't cut some of the, I don't know, like the car chase scene and the fight scenes and those kind of things that they had to make the edit time in lieu of some of the lightness. I think they played a little bit too much with it, and they pitched it as Point Break, which it's not. It's not Point Break. Anyone going to watch that as a Point Break is going to be thoroughly disappointed. If you go and watch it as Animal Kingdom, or if you go and watch it as No Country for Old Men Gold Coast style, you will understand, and that you'll go, got it. Okay, so that's the right audience and the right pitch for that. It's got Tamura Morrison, Isabel Lucas, Joe Davidson.
Great cast.
It's got a good cast, nice cast, and great cast to work with, all of them. And a few others in there as well, by the way. The kind of familiar faces from Australian TV that you go, oh yeah, I remember him from that, or I remember him from that. So some good names in there as well, and some good action. And one thing that comes out of it is, if you are in the drug business, you will see from that movie that there is nowhere else in the world more beautiful to import drugs than the Gold Coast.
So this isn't an advertisement, but the other thing, I don't know if you can see, we've got 9 minutes left by Zoom. I hate it how they do this, but
okay.
But yeah, man. Do you mind if I throw a couple extra bits and pieces at you while we got some time?
Go ahead.
Man, because as we touched upon, Zombie Plane, February. When are we going to see a trailer for that?
Okay, so we're looking to release something to the market November, December for Zombie Plane. There's already a lot of hype and buzz in the media because every time we get one cast member or another character joining the cast, of course that leaks to the media. And today, Neville, I am on cast.
Come on, mate. Because I know, look, we got Chuck Norris. He's on the poster. One of my childhood heroes. We got Vanilla Ice, another one. Ninja Turtles 2, like if you couldn't tell. So yeah. And of course Sophie Monk. One of my crushes from when I was younger, of course.
I know, right? I know, she's hot as.
I saw her in a McDonald's once on the Gold Coast.
Working or eating?
No, she was just walking through the door.
Oh, right, okay.
And I was like, what's that? Oh.
He's like, son.
Yeah. No, but I met her once and she was lovely. But man, that alone, and you as well. Who do you play though? Can you tell us that?
Okay, I'll give you two cast members that you can mention because they're already in the media, and that is Amy Shark and Natalie Bassingthwaite. So they've actually been released into the media already.
There you
go. So you can splurge with those names. I play, growing up, I always wanted to play like the Rambo style, Van Damme style, Schwarzenegger style, the tough guy hero, and very macho kind of muscly, like I've got the guns and the big chest and the shoulders and the traps. I wanted to play that kind of hero kind of character. So it was a surprise when I got cast as a gay flight attendant.
The opposite.
The opposite, total opposite.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. So I play flight attendant George, and I will not say any more than flight attendant George.
Okay. All right. You know what? I can't wait to see this thing. And February, are you going to have a big premiere here on the Goldie or
yeah, so actually the producing team are working diligently and carefully to we feel like Zombie Plane is a movie that's never been done before. And I mean that in all senses. I'm watching it going, this thing is mad. Like, it's mad. And I can't wait to see it. And it's so pop culture and it is so on point and it's so funny in so many stupid ways. I can't wait for everyone to enjoy it and just go, oh my God, like I just can't wait. So we feel like the premiere should be the same. So we're trying, just as bizarre, just as mad. Why not? And so what the team are trying to do is create a promotional event that is unique, will never have been done before, but is on point to the movie and does credit to the talent that's in the movie. So we've got some really cool concepts, ideas, and Jessica Butland, the producer, the main helm producer, she's working diligently, and I've got some other friends helping on the logistics of that. But there's a lot of moving parts to get those logistics into place, like a lot. So it's not like booking the cinema, booking the red carpet, and just being done. This is something on scale. And so we don't want to say too much in case we can't follow through. But at the moment, we're just trying to get all of those ducks in a row. And I mean, like, there's an email today on it, so it's like now trying for mid-February.
Exciting, man. I'm pumped. But of course, what's going into the new year? What do you got planned? You got some...
So into the new year, actually, there's a John Soto horror movie.
Yeah.
I'm not a big horror genre fan guy to watch.
Yeah,
and that's only because my heart is racing all day already with real estate deals and arguments and construction this and stunts that. So it's enough. So when I come, I don't really want to be scared out of my chair and running behind the pillow when I'm just trying to relax. It's not for me. But anyway, John sent me this script, and it plays with a lot of breaking the stereotypes in terms of good people having to do bad things, and almost using evil to accomplish justice for good. and it played with that a lot. And it kind of resonated with me in that way. I thought, oh, this is good. It kind of deals with a little bit of the occult, and it touches on religion. And I thought, oh, this could be interesting. So we did, I suppose, develop the script a little bit more. Actually, I think it's quite a good commercial horror. So we're looking at that for the new year. I have a action cartel movie, more firepower than Rambo is probably the best way to explain that.
Yeah, nice.
So, just mad. It's just just mad. It reminds me of the Saving Private Ryan opening scenes with the landing on the beach. And just it kind of feels a bit like that.
Okay.
But it's got a bit more pace to it, a bit more kind of staggered storyline than that just the opening scene. But there's a lot of firepower in this movie. So we're looking at that one for second quarter of next year.
Excellent, man. It's all happening. It's all happening.
We've got a series. Actually, your fans would love this. We've got a movie that was sent to us. I can't give the name. But what I will do is I'll say, have you seen a series called The Boys?
Yes. Like one of my favorite.
Right, I know, right? Like after The Boys, life is boring, right? Like everything's just boring. Like anything you watch is boring. I know. So except zombie playing, legit. But after The Boys, like with the gore and the sex in The Boys, and you thought, oh, is this really allowed on TV? Oh yeah, no, I'm watching it. No, it's allowed. Yeah. Everything else just becomes a bit pale in comparison. So I was sent the script as a movie, and pretty much, I won't go too much into it, but pretty much what I was reading was a $10 or $12 million porno. I thought this is never going to work. It certainly grabbed my attention. There's no two ways about it. But I thought we can never make this. No one will be able to commercial it. First of all, Victoria would never go and let me watch it at the cinema. No chance, right? Even if it managed to get past distribution, Alex, you're not going to that, right? So anyway, so that was definitely not going to happen. But I spoke to the writer and director. I said, look, actually, a lot of this translates into series. Handmaid's Tale, Game of Thrones, Orange is the New Black. There was another one just top of my head. And then even The Boys, although it's not a female-driven cast, there's a lot of kind of sexuality of females and strong females driving the storyline. And I put Game of Thrones in there because I think Mother of Dragons, Queen Cersei, Arya Stark or the Stark sisters, and Brienne of Tarth. And I start looking at these strong female characters. I think the men are almost incidental in that series. They drive the story along, but the women are actually kind of there for the whole thing. So I kind of looked at it that way and thought, this female-led driven storyline needs to be developed. So that's in development now as a series. And I've suggested to the director and writer that goes to Amazon. Netflix have already kind of looked at it and said, this is interesting. Yeah, so we're looking at that for next year.
Awesome, man.
I think if that goes on, that just makes The Boys look like the Waltons. Forget it.
Oh, man, I'm so keen. I'm so keen. But Zoom's about to kick us off. It gives us a 40-minute. I don't know why it does that, but
bastards at Zoom.
They are, yeah. It drives me nuts. I know. But bro, thanks so much for hanging out on the show.
My pleasure. Thanks, Nev.
We're gonna have to do this again. Keep sending those scripts through, and
we'll do.
Details. But bro, take care, and we'll see you on the big screen.
All the best. Whoosh.
See you, bro. Take care, man.
Thanks, mate.